So there's two issues I have with Islam in terms of new argumentation. One is going to be philosophical, and one is going to be issues of what it means within the Sunnah of the Prophets to die. So firstly, the definition, what do you take the definition of death?
Definition of death is when the soul
Separates from the body.
Now, let me finish the answer.
Yes.
It separates from the body.
Yes.
That's what death is.
Okay, so would you say that Isa bodily assumed to Allah, or would you say that Isa assumed spiritually or through the soul?
I'll say bodily.
So if you were to say bodily, if he is with Allah, according to Quran chapter 3 verse 55, you would then have to say that Allah lives within a state of temporality.
Allah?
Yes, because it says in Quran chapter 3 verse 55 that he was ascended to him, and it's understood that Isa is currently with Allah and he's outside the heavens itself.
Yeah,
now if you give an account that Allah is not some material person and that he is atemporal and above existence itself, you then have to say that he is in a state, or he lives in a state of temporality.
Allah?
Yes.
No.
Well, why do you not follow?
Why are you comparing Allah to Jesus?
Because in Quran chapter 3 verse 55, it says that Christ was assumed to Allah. Now, if this statement is true, this then entails that Allah lives in a mode or reality of temporality, which would then follow that Allah is material.
Yeah, when it says Allah took him to himself,
yes,
it does not mean that exactly where Allah is.
So where are you exactly getting it within the text? Because it says that he is assumed to Allah, and when it's saying to, it's saying to the subject of Allah himself, and it's not saying to one of the heavens, for example. And there's no early commentaries which would posit that he is in like a different heaven to which he is not in.
How do you know that he's with Allah actually?
Because the text directly tells me in a verbatim statement that he is with Allah, and if he is with Allah, and that this is a bodily assumption, this then entails that Allah lives in a reality of temporality.
Okay, because Allah, because Allah, the place Allah is, no one shares the same place with Allah. No one shares.
Yeah, you can give that as a refutation, but that's just going to lead to a contradiction when you say an exclusive statement, which
Where's
is
the
trying.
Angels, then?
When the angels these are just going to be in different heavens.
So Jesus can't be in different heavens?
Well, if you want to spotlight the absurdity of my argument, and you're not actually refuting the substance of the argument itself, that's just spotlighting the absurdity of your own theology.
You said because Jesus is there, that means he has to be like close to Allah. So I'm asking you, where's the angels?
If he is with Allah,
what about the angels?
If he is with Allah,
what about the angels?
So firstly, let's just sorry if I'm mischaracterizing the Sunni position, but you affirm to a madhab that says that Allah is above his throne, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Because the throne exists whilst God himself is above existence. If that is true, if Jesus bodily assumes to Allah, that means then Allah lives in a space of temporality, or
no.
somewhere which is material.
No. When he says that Allah took him to himself, it means wherever he is, Allah kept him there. Because
where is he getting that? Where are you getting that from the text?
Relax. Because that place, when Allah says he took him to himself, we know that place cannot be the place where Allah is, because Allah shares that glory unto himself alone. Okay. I'm going. Let me finish here. Just like in the angels, when they are in heaven, they also have their own specific place where they're at. They are not with Allah like that, close to each other. So they are in a certain place. So Jesus as well, even though the text doesn't tell us, we know that by reading, in the Quran, Allah doesn't share any closeness to anybody. We know that he's placed somewhere where he's not close to Allah.
Okay.
If he says that he raised him unto himself, it's not talking about actually.
That is a really bad.
No, it's not.
Hold on.
Because angels are also there.
That is a very bad form of monus ponus,
why
which already assumes that the Quran is necessarily true.
Why do you use angels?
So you're saying that because the Quran is true, necessarily, if it says something which could possibly be a contradiction, it must be giving an account for itself on how it's not incorrect. Therefore, you're reading into the text what it should mean if the Quran is true.
Where do you get this
so
idea
one
from?
second, you're interrupting me.
But where do you get this-
1 second.
Go on, yeah, go on.
1 second. So this inference rule of monas ponens, if the Quran is true, and if Allah is above temporality, therefore it follows that Allah, Jesus, although it doesn't say in the text, is in a different heaven to which he initially was. That is unfounded because it's already assuming that the Quran is true. My second point is that you're reading into the text. In Quran chapter 3 verse 55, it says that Isa either spiritually or bodily assumed to where Allah was, which then means he is above the throne of Allah, which would then mean Allah.
Where does he say that?
But well, if it's
Where does it say in the Quran?
Quran chapter 3 verse 55.
Does it say that he's in the same throne with Allah?
You were literally quoting the verse.
Does it say
Yes.
Jesus is sharing the same throne as Allah?
Not the throne. I said above the throne.
Does it
because
say that?
Allah is not in his throne,
Does
is
it
he?
say that?
With Allah, yes.
Where? Show it to me.
Quran chapter 3 verse 55.
What, sharing the same throne?
I did not say share the throne because
What did you
Allah
say
is,
then?
I said above his throne.
Okay.
Because that's the mode of existence.
So you're saying Jesus is above the throne with Allah?
Yes.
Where does it say that? Surah
Quran
3,
chapter 3 verse
it's not
55.
there.
Well, let's see what happens. You know, just a quick one for the camera. God bless you all. Hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. You know, the tradition to which
Soko,
holds.
where's Bob today? He's not coming.
I don't think he's coming until New Year's Eve. I'll fill in his step up.
I was gonna debate with him about the Prophet's marriage to Aisha.
Well, I don't really argue in terms of morals or history. That's a different vocation for another
No, I
person.
said him, not you.
But once we talk about this
Not you, him.
recent question or inquiry I have about Islam, I also want to very quickly talk about the qirats within Islam, and then we can conclude our conversation. Or if you have an issue with the philosophy of Christianity, which I have a vocation in, and which I've been investigating Islam, you can pose me that question.
I said Bob, not you.
Yeah, obviously. I just want to make that very clear. I do not have a vocation in morality.
I never said it.
Yeah, so Quran chapter 3 verse
It says
55.
here, when Allah said, "Oh Jesus, I will take you and raise you to myself, and I will wait, let me finish, and I will deliver you from those who disbelieve." So when he says to myself,
Yes.
it's talking about the nearest to Allah, which is the heaven.
Where are you getting that in the text?
Does Allah share the same glory with people, the same above the throne? Does Allah do it?
Say
Does
that
He
again?
do it? Does Allah?
Again, you're assuming.
Hang on.
You're assuming the text is
assuming,
going to be.
You're assuming
Yes.
as well.
No.
I'm not assuming because I
So
know.
so the hermeneutics of the Quran is that you read the verse in relation to how the verse was revealed itself. You don't actually have to appeal to the holistic reading of the Quran itself in order to actually indicate whether the text is true or not. That's my first point. My second point is just going to be that your refutation of my argument is just assuming the Quran is truthful to itself. Therefore, it necessarily gives an account for how the Quran is truthful. Thirdly, it says, "I will raise myself up to myself," and I'd like you to give a refutation of that verse within the text itself and not a later commentary or extrapolation of the text.
So, in Surah 10:18,
Yes. What does it say?
hang on.
So while he's looking for that, I'm just going to detail the critique that I have recently discovered about Islam. I don't believe Islam is consistent on its definition of what death is and its application within the Sunni tradition itself. Now, initially, he defined death as a separation of body and soul. But according to the Sunni tradition, the separation of body and soul takes place whilst you're sleeping, which would then mean the principle of material life, the soul, is separated with the body whilst you're sleeping, which entails that you are dead when you're asleep.
In Islam, we have two different types of death.
Yes.
The proper death, where you don't come back, and the temporary death.
Wait, hold on. What's resurrection?
Resurrection
Yeah.
is that when your soul returns back to you. But
wait.
let me finish.
Yes.
Let me finish. Okay. Resurrection is, for instance, when Allah decides to take your life permanently. Okay. Okay. And then later, He revives your soul back to your body.
Well, so if you're saying, I just want to go back to. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue. I'm stuck on point one.
I haven't finished.
I'm stuck on point one.
I haven't finished.
Okay.
Okay. That's what it means.
Yes.
But if you're sleeping, yeah, your soul gets separated from you, yeah, temporary, and it comes back to you. So in Islam, we have permanent death, which you never come back. Yeah, temporary death, which is when you're asleep.
So if I were to
that one is when Jesus. That one.
Okay, I'll put a question. If I were to get shot in the brain, right, I die. Is that a temporary death, or is it a definite death?
Like when you die, proper death.
Yeah, proper death.
That's a permanent one.
Okay, what is resurrection?
Resurrection is when your soul comes back to your body.
So when you move back, hold on. Yeah. When you go back to a state of death to living, correct?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So do I resurrect on Judgment Day?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that if I were to get shot in the brain, I would come back to life. I would permanently die. So permanent death is the definition of the separation of body and soul for eternity, forever.
That's what I said in
Islam. Now hold on. Resurrection takes part on Judgment Day when I am permanently dead, which means it contradicts itself because it's saying that death.
It doesn't.
Hold on. Proper death is when you die for eternity, right? But if that happens, that removes the possibility of resurrection, because resurrection posits that you reassume the state of living, which can't happen if you're dead forever.
It doesn't. Let me tell you why. I've already said this, and I said to you, the reason why the one that is temporary is not resurrection, because Allah hasn't ordained you to die permanently. Okay, that one is a temporary one.
But you said
hang on.
I resurrect. No, because you're being inconsistent.
No.
You said
hold
on. You said that if I permanently die, I die forever.
Yeah.
But for example, if I got shot in the head, that's death forever. But in this situation, I would also be resurrected to be judged.
Yes.
So if being dead forever entails a state of permanence in the condition of separation of body and soul, that then removes the possibility of a resurrection, because the resurrection seeks to assume the state of living, which is negated by the definition of a permanent death.
No.
Okay, so it's a very simple bonus ponens. If I permanently die, that means I cannot assume life itself. Would you agree?
Except if God allowed you.
Okay, now you're just being arbitrary and saying that God can do logical contradictions.
No. It's true that's contradicting it.
It is a contradiction, because you're saying that God ordains permanent death.
For instance,
but permanent death can also be assumed by resurrection.
Do you believe Jonah died? I'm going to give an example.
Okay.
I'm going to give an example because it's something similar.
Jonah did die, yes.
Did Jonah die or not?
Yes, he did die.
He did die?
Yes.
Proper death?
Yes, according to Jonah chapter 2 verse 2.
But yet he was praying while he was in the belly.
He was praying in hell.
What? He was praying hellfire? What the hell is wrong with you? Jonah was praying
he was
while
in Hades.
He was in hellfire.
Yeah, he was in Hades.
So as Jesus was, the same topic, right? About death here. It's the same topic. I'm not running away. Because it's in your Bible, so I have to apply,
I don't hold to the same definition of death,
I have to apply a similar standards to you.
Well, no, it's a too quick way if you do that, because I don't hold to the same position of death.
Okay.
Death is the separation of body and soul. But the reason why you have to adopt an idiosyncratic definition of death is because you say that the separation of body and soul takes part when you're sleeping as well.
So when you say Jonah was in hell, does that mean Jesus was in hellfire as well?
No, because we understand.
Because Jesus says,
prior to one second. Now you're getting.
And 3 nights.
Yes.
So shall the Son of Man be as well.
Yeah. So
was he also in hellfire?
Well, we have the tradition of the hallowing of Hades, which posits that Christ goes down to hell to assume every believer that would actually had salvation if the crucifixion of our Lord was enacted at the time of their death.
So you believe Jesus was in hellfire?
Yeah.
Can't believe it. You hear it, guys? This guy believed Jesus was in hellfire.
I believe my God penetrates everywhere. You can't. God is everywhere. I believe that. You believe God is nowhere.
No, we believe
God is in hell, he's in heaven, and he's on earth.
No, we believe, yeah, God doesn't go to certain places. He doesn't go to certain places.
But he creates them.
He creates them.
But he's not there.
But, okay, can you create this?
Yes.
Can you enter in it? See how small it is? Can you
I
enter
can
in
modify and utilize it, yeah,
it? No,
sure.
but for now, can you enter in it?
Yeah, but this is not analogous because you're then saying that how I possess and edit items is going to be identical for how God possesses and edits items. But now, hold on, we're going off topic.
Okay, no,
so,
yeah.
let's go back to my
I can't
critique.
believe you said Jesus was in hellfire.
My God's in hell. What's wrong with that? Now,
I don't believe Jesus
so
is in hellfire.
we can. How about this? Because this conversation is getting nowhere. I suppose that I finished my argument for what I was saying. Then I want to go to a very quick critique of the Quran. Then you can ask me a philosophical question on Christianity. So, my critique is really, if you say the definition of death, there's two distinct types of death. Improper death, where you are for an episode separated your body and soul for a period of time. Or proper death, which posits that you're dead for eternity, forever, from the time that you are officially dead, onwards and onwards.
Until
If you say that,
until day of judgment.
oh, now you're changing your definition.
No, I want to clarify from you. Is that what you meant?
Well, okay, so what's then the difference between improper death and proper death if both posit that you're going to be dead for a certain period of time?
Sorry, can you repeat?
If you're saying there's an episode of time to which you are dead in both definitions, and both definitions are identical, that then means improper death equals proper death.
No, it doesn't. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Because God decides that.
Now you're just
Hang on,
appealing.
hang on.
Now you're. No, this is my problem because whenever I critique this, you're just going to appeal to an arbitrary, mystic separation of the definitions from like God separating the two different words. Even though I don't find anywhere in the literature proper and improper death being used.
So if God.
So I finished my argument to the camera because now this conversation, as it pertains to this argument,
No,
is
because
fruitless.
you can't make any points. That's why.
Okay, well, how about this? All the people in the camera can actually come to a conclusion of whether my critique is valid. Because according to them, sleeping would mean that they're dead.
Okay, because